have always been a private person. I refuse to share anything to the point where I won't even tell my friends and family my problems. And even though I'm a cheerleader, I hate being the center of attention. I just don't want anyone to assume anything about me. So I keep everything to myself and avoid sharing anything. And this makes it hard to share my story. When I was 13, my dad was diagnosed with stage 3 stomach cancer. Now, I didn't want anyone thinking that I wanted attention or that I wanted everyone to feel sorry for me, so I kept it to myself. I started my freshman year without my mom and dad dropping me off like most others. I had to take a BART and the bus to school every day because he was too unwell to be there with me. I would go to school and not tell my friends the real reason why I did not want to be there. I wouldn't study for tests or do any homework, but not tell my teachers because I did not want them to feel sorry for me. And every day after school, I would put on this mask with a cheering spirit and a bubbly personality and go to cheer games and practices, but not tell my coach. I had days where I was mad at everything and days I did not see the point in trying. I had days where I thought the whole world was against me and I could not stop thinking about the what ifs. Still, no one knew my story. About halfway through my sophomore year, after 2.5 years of battling cancer, my dad sadly passed away. When he passed away, I constantly questioned everyone and everything. I lost my faith in God, and I felt like I couldn't talk to anyone about it, so I became depressed, and the feeling of loneliness took over me. In spite of not wanting anyone to know anything, I wanted to honor and remember him, so I posted a picture. I honored him through the caption. I remembered his protecting mentality and tireless fight through the caption. This seemed like a small thing, but to me it was big because no one knew. And now everyone who did not know, would now know. It took a long time for me to come to terms with my dad's passing. Yes, I still believe it's not fair, and around the time of his passing, I can't help but reminisce. But I no longer cry when I watch a video and I hear his voice, or I stumble across something he had given me. I only smile and thank God that he is no longer suffering. Me and my sister even make jokes of him sometimes, because that's just our way of coping. It was not until years later that I fell into the same dark place I was in when my dad first passed away. In the beginning of my senior year, I found out I was being cyberbullied. Now, I've been the center of rumors, I've been excluded and talked about all throughout high school. I never let anything get to me. I was always the upstander for myself and other people. I was used to people making comments about me, because that's just how high school is. But this was different. Someone who I considered my friend and people I have never even talked to before called me a clout chaser in a Discord group chat for posting this picture of my late father. And for those of you who do not know, Discord is a video gamers group chat, and a clout chaser is someone who would do anything for attention. In this Discord chat, me and some of my friends were repeatedly talked about and made fun of. But this comment stuck out to me. The one thing that I did not want to happen for so long happened. And yeah, I found myself in the same mental state I was in my sophomore year. And I may have been able to talk to trusting adults this time, but I couldn't help but repeatedly ask myself, why me? I shut down and I felt completely lost and alone, because not only did people I have never even talked to before talk about my personal life, but someone who I considered my friend did too. And this type of hurt, it was different. It was different because they will never know my hurt, and I wish that hurt on nobody. And not only did they talk about my friends, but they talked about my family too. The Google definition of bullying is an ongoing and deliberate misuse of power in a relationship through verbal and physical behavior that intends to cause physical and psychological harm. Cyberbullying is the use of an electronic communication to intimidate, threaten, embarrass, or target someone. And unlike verbal and physical bullying, cyberbullying can happen anywhere at any time of the day. And unfortunately, my experience is common amongst teens my age. It has been reported that 37% of students have been bullied online. Hiding behind a screen makes it easier for the bullies. The anonymity of a faceless exchange, a disguised username, and the ability to delete gives them a false sense of security. They believe that they will never get caught, that there will be no consequences, and this makes them feel powerful. And since they usually do not see their victims in person, it is impossible for them to see the damage they are causing. Without seeing the pain, distress, and humiliation on someone's face, cyberbullies can't see the psychological and emotional damage they can have on someone. Victims have no power over what is being posted or shared. And since cyberbullying can happen anywhere at any time of the day, it is impossible to escape feeling vulnerable and defenseless. And even if the material is taken down, many people may have already seen it, and the effects are long-lasting. Cyberbullies especially take advantage of social media platforms, such as Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. They can publicly share private information about a person, causing humiliation and embarrassment. And even though private chats like Discord only allow a certain amount of people, the effects are just as damaging. Cyberbullying can be very psychologically corrupting to adolescents and teens. It could lead to intense emotions such as anxiety and depression and even suicide. The feeling of anxiety intensifies when being bullied, especially when the bullying is anonymous. When bullying is anonymous, it feels like anyone or everyone is talking about you. You lose trust in people as close as your friends, and you want to avoid everything. And when you lose trust, you become hopeless. Victims believe that there is no way the situation could improve, especially if they can't even trust to talk to anyone about it. They lose interest in school, hobbies, and activities that used to bring them joy. The anonymity of it all makes them feel like the bully will never truly understand and will continue their actions towards them and other people. They also believe that the bullies will not receive a consequence for the pain they have inflicted. Knowing that justice will not be served a certain way, along with feelings of anger and frustration, victims can become vengeful and hateful. The pain they were not able to escape begins to control them, and they want revenge and for the bully to feel the same way. When trying to find who you are, feeling all these emotions, and being bullied at the same time, it could lead to the pain of isolation. Isolation is one of the most enduring and painful experiences one can go through when navigating their teenage years. Responsibilities, school, family pressures, and social pressures are already challenging enough. But feeling like you're going through it all alone can make it unbearable. Isolation could lead to depression and the thought that things will never get better, that things will never turn around, and that nothing will be worth it. Cyberbullying can not only lead to intense emotions such as depression, but death and thoughts of self-harm. Students who have been bullied are 2 times more likely to attempt suicide. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States, but the 2nd leading cause of death in people ages 10 to 34. And experts agree that the main reason is due to any type of bullying. When the Discord chat was first brought to my attention, I fell into the same dark place I was in when my dad first passed away. I constantly questioned everyone and everything. I was full of hate and confusion. I wanted to hurt them the way they hurt me. And just like anyone who has been targeted before, I felt hopeless and powerless. So why? Why make people hurt this much? Why make people feel like this? Well, bullies bully because they are being hurt themselves. For they feel insecure, powerless, and in need of control. For example, someone who constantly talks about their workout routine, their waist sizes, and make fun of other people's body images are often insecure about their own bodies. But they do not realize the effects of their comments when, one, no one is telling them to stop and what they're doing is wrong, and two, when their friends encourage them, they can feel rewarded. The only way I was able to overcome this was being able to talk and use my voice, to use a platform to share my story and help others overcome their experiences. I chose to change my mentality. I realized that they did not deserve my time or energy. I became an advocate. Through the help of friends and family who greatly impacted my experience, I found my voice. The actions of my friends, family, and people who empathize with my situation helped me realize my voice because they stood up for me. They were upstanders. Upstanders are people who act or support an individual or cause, particularly on the behalf of someone who is being bullied or attacked. If there were upstanders in this Discord group chat, comments that were made would not have been made, and they would have realized the effects of their comments. But there were only bystanders. Bystanders are people who laugh along and encourage the bully. You can even be a bystander by silently watching and being an audience for the bully to entertain. You do not need to know somebody to stand up for them or for what is right. I broke free from this victim mentality through a lot of self-growth. Anyone can be an upstander, even parents. It can be extremely hard for someone to talk to your parents, because I know not everyone has the same relationship my mom and I have, where I feel comfortable telling her almost anything. I'm able to talk to her without getting distressed, meaning she's able to listen and understand to what I felt about the situation without jumping to conclusions and blaming anyone. She asked me how I felt about the situation, what I wanted to do about it, and encouraged me to do it. She was definitely an upstander. I was able to break free from this victim mentality through a lot of self-growth. I overcame being bullied through things I learned. 1, realize that you get control of the outcome. Realize your power. Stop thinking that the world is against you because it only causes more suffering. Focus your time and energy elsewhere. 2, practice empathetic listening. When listening to other people's stories, try to see it from their perspective and feel their feelings. This takes a lot of maturity. In the beginning, I could not understand why someone would want to bully anybody and make other people feel like that. But when I did, I understood the complexity of any situation. And finally, 3, help others. Acknowledge your experience. If you're able to help yourself, consider helping others. Offer and spread kindness to everyone. Being a victim of bullying does not define who you are. If there were no bullies and more upstanders, our world would come a little closer to experiencing peace. There would be a decrease in school dropout and suicide rates. There would be less discrimination and exclusion inside and outside of school. School, it could be another safe place. There would be less hatred in our hearts and minds. We would all be a family. We would all feel respected. And this would bring hope to the bullies, the bystanders, the upstanders, and victims, now advocates. You get to choose the outcome. You can overcome and become an upstander. Remember, don't stand by, stand up. Thank you.